everybody, and welcome into the Big 12 softball tournament here in Oklahoma City at Devon Park. Wonderful matchup to begin the tournament. The 4 and 5 seed of UCF and the University of Kansas. Starting off strong, first game of the day, but a lot of fun softball ahead of us. Take a look at the bracket of what's to come the next couple of days here in Oklahoma City. UCF and Kansas. Texas Tech will meet Baylor for the second game of today, followed by Oklahoma State and Utah. And then we have a little bit of an in-state rivalry to end the day, Arizona facing Arizona State. We welcome you into the booth. I'm Emma Tiedemann alongside the gold medalist Kat Osterman. And what an exciting day, and to begin the day, too, with such a great matchup between UCF and Kansas.
Well, this matchup was heated even in season. UCF took 2 of 3, but 3 competitive games. And Coach Jen McFalls talked to us about liking the way her team competed. On the flip side, Sydney Ball-Malone told us she loved that their arms kept Kansas's offense at bay, but at the same time, she was able to keep a couple arms in hiding. So Kansas gonna have a couple arms coming at them today that they haven't already seen.
Let's take a look and talk about Presley Limbaugh first of all. Definitely a name to keep an eye on as we go on, and has been a leader for the Jayhawks and looks to just build on that success today.
Well, Limbaugh's second team all Big 12, but she leads them in average, she leads them in on-base percentage, but she also will lead them in stolen bases, so she will get on and put pressure on the defense of the Knights.
And Isabella Vega will be a hard arm to get past, though, because you talk about leaders, first team all Big 12, she's got it all.
Vega came in last year as a freshman, became the ace of the staff for UCF, continues that tradition, and they know she's circled, they know she's scouted, but she has the stuff to keep them in ball game. Cindy Ball-Malone will go to her, may relieve, and then come back to her, so she will be used in a variety of different ways here in the Big 12 tournament.
We've got a lot of fun softball coming up this afternoon. Stick with us, we'll take a break. First pitch coming up next. Welcome back into Devon Park ahead of UCF and Kansas. To start us off at the Big 12 softball tournament, we'll take you through the Jayhawks lineup. Leading off in center field, Presley Limbaugh. Anna Souls bats second at first base. Haley Kripe, the shortstop, bats third. Ella Boyer batting cleanup, designated player today. Campbell Bagshaw, the second baseman, bats fifth. Batting sixth in right field is Ansley Lindlove, as Ava Wallace, the left fielder, bats seventh. Batting eighth and catching is Bailey Mezcua, and then Cadence Stafford, the third baseman, rounds out the starting 9 for the Jayhawks. And the lineup will face this defensive alignment for UCF Knights. It'll be Mertes in left field, Ray in center with Calvez in right field, and then Griffin at first base, Humphreys at second, Coco Jaime's at third base, and Evans the shortstop. Damon will be catching today for Isabella Vega, who has been just lights out for the Knights this season as she heads to the circle. And Vega has already had a strong season, but has been strong particularly against the Jayhawks this year after being named first team All Big 12, just adding to that resume.
Isabella Vega, no stranger to anyone in the Big 12. As we mentioned last year, as a freshman, came on strong, was the ace for this staff, continues in that role. But in their 3-game series, Vega did throw 10 innings against this Jayhawk offense. She ended up surrendering 11 hits and 7 runs, so there is some familiarity between these bats and Vega. But the freshman, or excuse me, the sophomore is going to use a lot of up spin. She'll throw in the low 60s. She'll spot a fastball, use her rise ball a lot. She likes to work in the upper part of the zone, try to induce some fly balls, get the swing and misses. But she has that ace mentality. We talked to Coach Cindy Ball Malone, and she said she almost pitches better with a little bit of an edge to her when she gets a little bit mad. In fact, she gave her a little ribbing while we were on the interview because she was in the bullpen and kind of made a snarky remark. And obviously, Vega responded with 2 great pitches after that. So likes to get her sophomore fired up in the circle.
She'll face Presley Limbaugh, the center fielder, lead things off for the Jayhawks. Bats on the left side. First pitch, we're underway. It's a called strike on the outer half. And for these Jayhawks, had a KU season record of 80 home runs, ranks 3rd in the Big 12, 17th nationally. So power could be a factor for Kansas. Ball skips away and the count evens 1-1.
Interesting to see Vega go to that off-speed pitch this early in the game. I think trying to show the Jayhawks, hey, I will mix speeds today. As we mentioned, she likes that rise ball. She will move it through the zone, spot it at different locations, but that off-speed pitch can be something that keeps her in the game longer and keeps these hitters off balance.
Now ahead to the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes, and Limbaugh, the senior, leads Kansas in batting average, and Jayhawks just wanted to do what they have done all season, and that's that RBI production. Count evens 2-2 from Vega.
Limbaugh has done such a great job of setting the table for Kansas, and that's what head coach Jen McFalls is going to look for here. But with the fact that Limbaugh has been able to get on at a high clip, gives the offense a little bit of momentum as the game gets started.
And now the count goes full. Limbaugh moved into that leadoff spot to set the tone and can be very disciplined at the plate, has a fantastic eye. There's the payoff. He spoils it foul. This is about the battle that you would expect from these two for this first at-bat.
You're talking about not just 3 games this year, but facing each other last year as well. And while Vega's trying to work on some new pitches, use that off-speed a little bit more, you know Limbaugh is understanding I have to try to find the top part of the ball. She likes to go up in the zone. Let me make sure I don't get under and induce an easy pop-up. But you can tell she's expecting to see balls up in the zone when it's an opportunity for Vega to get her to chase.
Up in the zone again, and she makes contact but sends it foul. 8th pitch of the at-bat incoming.
As a coach, this is what you want to see from your leadoff hitter. You want to see her be able to get, not necessarily deep in the count all the time, but if you are deep in the count, see a lot of pitches. Saw her lay off a rise ball up towards her head. She laid off an off-speed in the dirt.
Now she lines it down left field line, and it's a foul ball. Well, and the more pitches that you see at the plate, too, if you have Anna Souls on deck, she's seeing these pitches as well.
Yeah, Anna Souls on deck has had a tremendous year for the Jayhawks. Best year offensively, especially with power. But the other piece is that she's a left-handed hitter in front of her.
Puts it on the side, out of the reach of Humphreys, and she wins that 8-pitch battle. Leadoff single from your leadoff hitter.
Presley Limbaugh doing a great job of battling until she gets something she can pull, and she pulls this right past Humphrey, who was shifted up the middle. I think Humphrey plays straight up. She might actually have a play on that, but was shifted up the middle as they were trying to work away from Limbaugh. But unfortunately, Vega put one that Limbaugh could get around enough to get herself on base.
Souls with 50 RBI this year, second most on the team. Takes the first pitch from Vega. Our head coach has said that she's just gotten better and better every year. This is a little bit outside.
Souls came in as a pitcher and utility. Hasn't pitched a whole lot there, even though Coach McFall's told us she still throws some bullpens just in case, but has really been able to get comfortable at first base, which has allowed her to have success in the box. But it's the power that Souls possesses in the 2-hole that is going to have to make Vega and Cindy Ball-Malone, who's calling pitches, careful on how you approach this lefty. Such a mature hitter who understands timing, and as an at-bat goes on, you'll watch her foul one off and then maybe even foul off another, but you'll see little increments of timing getting better and better until she's able to really square one up.
Those adjustments in the box are crucial. Runner at first, nobody out. Top of the first inning, first game of the Big 12 softball tournament here in Oklahoma City. Foul tip. And you've now got back-to-back full counts worked against Vega here in this top of the first inning.
We saw the big hack there by Souls in a hitter's count, 3-1. Go ahead and take your hack. Now going to have to try to adjust her timing based on that.
Waves and misses for the first strikeout of the day by Vega.
Back-to-back outside pitches. Vega throwing both of these right by Souls. That one not even moving up. That just a nice fastball spotted low and out. Anna Souls unable to get a piece of it.
Jayhawks still threatening, runner at first and one away. Haley Kripe in the box. First pitch misses high and away. Go Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. One of the best shortstops in the country this season. Just misses off the plate. A lot of these pitches from Vega are really close.
Well, the key is Vega's throwing that one close, and I thought that one actually looked pretty good. Damon almost pulled it too far to make it look like it might have been off the plate even more than it was.
The frame was too good, you're saying?
A little bit. Sometimes catchers can occasionally move it a little bit too much, and you get the umpire thinking you just pulled that from a significant way. But remember, that ball low in the zone that Vega is using is going to be a fastball, so there's not going to be a lot of movement on it, but she is going to spot it well.
She goes inside again to Kripe for another called strike. She lobs it to left field. Mertes waits on it, makes the catch, 2 away. Good couple of bounce back at bats by Vega after allowing that leadoff single by Limbaugh. But here's Ella Boyer hitting 4th in the lineup today.
Ella Boyer possesses so much power. You talked about it, Kansas setting a single season program record in that category, but Ella Boyer as a freshman comes in and approaches the game with a maturity of an upperclassman. Coach McFall's talked to us about her a little bit and just said she struggled because she is now the one circled in red, so they know that they're honing in, not letting her be the one that beats them, but still her at-bats have been exceptional and continues just to grind.
It's a foul left side. Yet now it's forcing her to readjust versus opposing pitching staffs that have seen enough video and enough tape of her, but now you're really kind of challenging that freshman to readjust, sometimes pitch by pitch.
Well, it's a challenge too for freshman hitters, because a lot of times in travel ball or in high school, there's not a lot of coaches that are strategizing to pitch around somebody. They're like, oh, okay, if they beat us, we'll go get another run next inning. And obviously in the college level, you're trying to limit runs as much as possible. And so there is some strategy to try to expand the zone or to throw pitches like that off speed that Vega just offered in hitters' counts, even if it's not your best pitch. And so as a hitter, you just have to adjust to the fact that you are going to get so many different looks, especially if you're the one circled in red.
It's hit hard on the ground, third base side, goes to first, and after the leadoff runner by Limbaugh, Vega retires the next 3 in order. We head to the bottom of the first in Oklahoma City.
Being on a path trying to go to the Olympics, your life revolves around your training and making yourself better. The KRT Athletic Muscle Cream definitely makes me more confident and makes me want to go further. I started using their cream and my hamstring issues started going away. And so I use it before training, I use it after training. I am religious about this stuff. I want to be an Olympian, but I don't just want to go to the Olympics, I want to win a medal.
Old Trapper Beefs. Pack smash.
My peanut butter and jelly.
Ew.
Oh no. Yeah, I guess my ham and cheese didn't make it.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
Now that's a great view.
Yep.
Bottom of the first, here is who UCF is sitting to the plate. Aubrey Evans, the shortstop, leads off. Kendall Yarnell, the designated player, bats second. And then Beth Damon, the catcher, bats third. Batting fourth is a left fielder, Izzy Mertez. Sierra Humphreys bats are at second base, batting fifth. Coco James, the third baseman, bats sixth. Batting seventh at first base, Ashley Griffin. Zoe Calvez, the right fielder. And then the center fielder, Samantha Ray. And then they will face Lila Partridge for the Jayhawks. Partridge, the freshman, already making a name for herself. First pitch misses outside and pitches with a lot of confidence. 12 starts this season and 44 strikeouts.
Jen McFalls talked to us about the fact, especially lately, Partridge has been able to step up and have really good moments. Mentioned how much Vega pitched in their series against Kansas. On the flip side, Partridge, she threw 13 innings against this UCF lineup. So again, familiarity with this arm for the Knights of UCF. She did scatter 15 hits, only gave up 5 runs in 13 innings. So not bad outing. In fact, game 1, she walked 6, which probably led to more of the runs, where game 2, she was able to shore up the free passes and didn't allow any. There we see Partridge not going to overpower these hitters. Low to mid 60s. She'll spot a fastball, uses the up down, rise and drop for some vertical separation. She has an off-speed pitch she'll mix in, but and like you said, it pitches with confidence, but maintains composure. Jen McFalls was extremely complimentary of the composure she contains in the circle, doesn't get rattled, especially as a freshman.
We talked about those ebbs and flows also as the Jayhawks this season, as Evans sends it high to left field. Wallace makes the grab. And playing behind Partridge today, it'll be a Souls at first base with Bagshaw at second. Stafford the third baseman, Kripe the shortstop, left to right in the outfield, Wallace in left, Limbaugh in center, and Linduff in right field, and then Mezcua catching for the freshman Lila Partridge. Kendall Yarnell, one out, bottom of the first in Oklahoma City. Side outside. Yarnell, the sophomore, the utility player, first base today. At her first career walk-off home run, actually broke UCF's single-season team home run record. Back on April 17th, that was the 58th homer of the season for the Knights.
So many of these teams, you see the increase in run production and the increase in offense. And for both of these teams, really, it's because year 2 of having a new hitting coach, everyone settling in with verbiage, terminology, buy-in. Coach Cindy Ball-Malone talked to us, Noah Sanders being there in the second year now, some continuity from the staff, but also just his way of teaching and the athletes being more comfortable with it. A lot of people think you make a change in year 1, it should click right away, and not the case. Sometimes you have to, those relationships have to be developed, and so you see on both sides here, even with Justin Lewis for Kansas, the offense is starting to take off under their tutelage.
Well, because there's so much trust in that relationship too, that you don't form that trust overnight. Have to see that work paying off, and then you said that second year, you see the gains from that. Lines it to left field, and that's a base hit for Yarnell. Following Aubrey Evans' fly out, able to drive the ball, and the Knights have their first base runner.
Well, Yarnell gets an inside pitch, stays through that well, and you could tell she was almost sitting for that middle in. She wasn't really offering or even entertaining anything that Partridge threw on the outer half. We'll look to see if these other righties have the same plan. Are they going to force her to throw middle in? Or will they start attacking that curveball? Is something she's thrown often, but hasn't been able to have the consistency of it being there on the corner.
Beth Damon takes first pitch, a little bit outside for ball 1. Damon has been a force behind the plate. Just 2 caught ceilings short of a single season program record. Sophomore catcher out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Yarnell still over at first base, 1 out, bottom of the first. Another pitch outside, so you might be right. Trying to force her and throw some more pitches on the inside to right-handers.
Well, that's that curveball, and occasionally she'll spot it on the corner, but most time it's either missing up or out. And UCF being patient there really makes me think they're going to try to force her inside.
Now drives it deep left field. Wallace gives it a look. This one's out of the ballpark. 2-run blast for Beth Damon. And the Knights are on the board 2-0, bottom of the first. Got the pitch she wanted and drove it way out to left.
Well, let's just call it a homecoming of 2 different sorts. Beth Damon back home in Oklahoma, but as well taking this inside pitch from Partridge and absolutely driving that clear over the left field fence to give UCF a 2-run advantage. We talked about it with the at-bat of Yarnell, Emma. I really think UCF going to try to force Partridge on that inner half, and they're ready for that pitch.
67 home runs for UCF this year. It just keeps on adding to their single season program record. Takes in on the right side. She pops this one up left center field. Limbaugh and Wallace over, and Wallace makes the catch.
Oh, another righty going to that left field side of the ballpark, excuse me. And now with a lead, you can tell UCF is going to be very aggressive when they see a pitch that they think they can get their barrel to, especially on that inner half.
Sierra Humphreys at the plate. Takes a pitch on the inside for a called strike. All Big 12 Conference first team this season. She was second team last year. Got her first Big 12 Player of the Week after a really strong series against Utah. Hit 700 with 2 homers and 8 RBI. Pops it up right field line and out of play. Enough though gives a good chase to it. And now you see Partridge ahead in the count now, 1-2.
Well, Partridge using that outside corner there, and Humphreys had to protect. Show that they will try to attack that pitch, even though their plan looks like to be inside. The big thing for Partridge right now has been the inability to change speeds. Haven't seen a changeup, and that's not her forte, but with this lineup of UCF, there's not just one hitter you can circle and say, this is the person that's not gonna beat us. The top 5 have double-digit home runs, and so any one of them can step up at that time, so you have to have an off speed to keep them off balance.
Puts it on the ground right side, and that's the first ball hit to the right side of the field today as Humphreys continues the inning, a 2-out single.
Facing the 2-strike count, Humphreys able to go with this pitch, just sneaks into the 3-4 hole there by Bagshaw. But UCF proving they're ready here against Partridge. Again, Partridge threw 13 innings against them in that series, a 6-inning outing in game 1 and a 7-inning complete game in game 3.
Coco Jaime's at the plate. And the Jayhawks said that keeping UCF off balance will be key, but he said not a whole lot of change in velocity here. Fouls another one. You see the infield now adjust as well with the corners playing in.
And the other piece I haven't seen a lot of is vertical separation. Everything seems to be going in and out, and even if you spin that well, you have to have something that can change the eyes or drop out of the zone. Right now, just looks like Partridge is going curve screw, and UCF able to track those.
And that is Wallace making the catch in foul territory. And after the 2-run blast by Beth Damon, UCF takes a 2-0 lead to the top of the second over Kansas. Top of the second coming up. It's a gorgeous day for some softball here at Devon Park in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And UCF taking advantage of this beautiful weather with a 2-run blast in the bottom of the first inning, courtesy of Beth Damon. And the top of the second, Isabella Vega back in the circle. And after giving up that leadoff single to Presley Limbaugh on the top of the first, retired the next 3 she faced with her first strikeout of the game. She did throw 24 pitches in that first inning. There's Campbell Bagshaw.
It's funny you say 24 pitches thrown. 8 or 9 of those were just in the first hitter alone.
Right.
Presley Limbaugh worked Vega before earning her way on base.
It seemed like after that long at-bat against Limbaugh, then it seemed like Vega kind of figured something out and something clicked.
I think some of that goes to what we mentioned. Cindy Ball Malone talked about she pitches better when she gets a little bit mad, so I'm sure there was an edge in her after giving up a hit in that battle.
Liner right to Jaime's at third base. So quicker first at-bat of the inning. Had to extend the glove a little bit. Even have to take a step.
The thing about UCF and Vega is very well versed in where her pitches go, so defense can settle in not only on hitters' tendencies, but hey, if Vega throws this rise ball inside, where do they typically hit it? And when you have a pitcher with that much experience, it's nice because sometimes it goes against a hitter's tendencies. Being a pitcher myself, the drop ball outside, if a righty was up and they happened to get around it, it went in the 5-6 hole. So occasionally it'd be like, hey, third baseman, if it goes down the line, then we're going to tip our hat. But get in the 5-6 hole so we cut that hit. It's nice when your defense can be positioned to best help you out.
Well, and especially for the pitcher, because sometimes you're positioned against the hitter and what they do best, but it's nice to know that you can adjust the defense for whoever's in the circle as well. Linduff takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. The Oklahoma City native, a bit of a homecoming for her. Senior outfielder in right field this morning. Almost afternoon now, it's almost noon.
One of these foul balls is coming right up at us. If they get it high enough, I can tell.
You're the athlete between the two of us, so I'm going to rely on you.
We have plenty of time with how high we are up here, but I got you. But talking about Linduff and the homecoming here in Oklahoma, the parity of softball has grown across the country, both collegiately, but also when you talk about travel ball in high school.
Swings and misses for strike 3.
There was a point in time where a lot of the best players came out of California, and California still produces quite a few. Texas, where I'm from, produces a lot. But across the country, the talent has just spread out. A lot of Oklahoma studs stay in Oklahoma between OU and Oklahoma State, but a lot of them also spread their wings a little bit. And obviously, if you're from the Midwest, you're familiar with what Kansas offers. So a lot to draw from if you're a school in the Midwest.
Ava Wallace skies it to center field. Ray back on the warning track just in front of the wall, and it's a quick 3 up, 3 down inning for Isabella Vega following that 24-pitch first inning. Short top of the second, head to the bottom half.
The main obstacle has been the same throughout my life, is you're not big enough, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough. And so just kind of having that chip on my shoulder of like, all right, head first down some ice, that's the way we're gonna go. Working with KRT Athletic Muscle Cream has helped me improve every aspect of my physicality. So being able to have my muscle, my joints, and my tendons healthy, not cramp up, and be ready to achieve the extra reps, because those extra reps are what's gonna make the difference between a medal and a non-medal.
Hell of a good.
Seriously? No hell of a good dip? Whoa, creamy. A double dip. Where's Jill?
Hell of a good.
It's not a party without hell of a good.
Hell of a good.
Hello?
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Bottom of the second here at Devon Park, and UCF already having something to cheer about after the 2-run homer by Beth Damon. Ashley Griffin, the first baseman, will lead off here. That's Lila Partridge. Griffin looking to build upon her success in last year's tournament, was named to the Big 12 All-Tournament team last year. Redshirt senior infielder from Noonan, Georgia.
Last year, Griffin got to be the hero here in their first round win against Utah. A home run in their half of the 7th inning. Walked off the Utes. Big 2-run blast. That was UCF's first win in a Big 12 tournament. And they're looking to not just get their win, but try to see how far they can go in this tournament. If they make the semis, it'll be the first time in Big 12 play for them to have advanced there, but obviously have to finish this one out first.
So far, some really good at-bats against Lila Partridge. That one catches the outside part of the zone. And Partridge ahead in the count now, 1-2. And it seems like after that first inning, you give up the home run. This first at-bat of your next inning out seems to be pretty important whenever it comes to starting off strong. Just misses off the plate.
For Partridge, it's going to be working ahead of these UCF hitters. And we talked about it in the first inning, that curveball keeps missing away. So the consistency of that pitch is really going to be what determines how off balance she can keep UCF.
Puts it on the ground left side, and Stafford tries to dive for it. It's through the hole into left. And the Knights collect already their 4th hit of the game.
Before the 7th inning is here, we may sound like a broken record, but again, it's an inside pitch that UCF is aggressive on, able to drive through that 5-6 hole. But because that curveball is not being executed at a high percentage, it allows UCF to wait for this inside pitch and continue to drive it to left field.
I got a leadoff base runner, Zoe Calvez in on the left side. Tries to put down a bunt, but it goes foul. Calvez, the transfer from LSU, appeared in 7 games her freshman season with the Tigers. Attempts a bunt again. That's strike 2.
She offered and then pulled back, so home plate umpire Garrett Knowles asking Chad Steers down there at first base what he saw. Huge opportunity here, though, for UCF to advance a runner into scoring position. So Calvez is going to have to find a way to move that runner after failing to execute the sack.
Calvez, the lefty, we talked about her trying to get the Knights forcing pitches inside to right-handers. A little bit of a different approach here against the lefty. This is outside again.
Well, now going outside, and she's been able to execute that pitch to the right-handed hitters, as we mentioned, but it's fallen out of her hand, going too far here against Calvez.
Two hit on the ground right side. Bagshaw is there, throws to first. And unable to apply the tag of Griffin. It looked like Bagshaw was trying to tag her out in the base pass, but Griffin able to avoid the tag. Calvez is retired.
Calvez pulls this, and you see Griffin dodge the ball, and she's far enough away. Actually shocked that Bagshaw didn't change her feet and try to get the lead runner, as she had plenty of time, but able to secure the first down. But UCF able to get Griffin in scoring position.
First pitch to Samantha Ray is fouled. Ray, second team all Big 12. Had a really good offensive series against Oklahoma State. 625. Again, that one missing outside to another lefty, back-to-back lefties here with Calvez and Ray. Griffin still in scoring position at second base after she reached on the leadoff single. It's a called strike on the outside part of the plate.
Well, there's a little bit of an off speed that we have been talking about. Partridge can start to locate that, she might have a little more success against these hitters.
And now Ray does an offer as she goes back inside. Ground ball up the middle and through. Putting on the brakes at third is Griffin. As they throw to the plate, Ray advances to second. And how about that heads-up base running from the Knights?
When you ask Coach Cindy Ball-Malone who has stood out or surprised her this season, she said she wasn't surprised, but she feels like Samantha Ray gets overlooked, but she's holding her own, doing what UCF needs her to do. And here, a base hit up the middle, and as soon as she sees that throw by Souls as the cut, takes off for second to now have two runners in scoring position as they come back to the top of the lineup.
Now visit in the circle. Cindy Ball-Malone talks to her team, keeps them all nice and loose, and that's what she mentioned to us. That's what she's out there to do. Cindy Ball-Malone doing a fantastic job at UCF, and it seems like she just keeps building on each season's success, and now especially in the Big 12.
Well, Cindy Ball-Malone, if you talk to her, you will want to put on a uniform and play again. She makes you want to run through a wall for her, just with how she talks about creating relationships with the players. We identified her there. She's in the third base dugout. She told us, she goes, I don't really like it, but if it's the best thing for my team, it's what I'm going to do. And she has that connection where she knows whether players want to be talked to, want to be left alone, all those little things. Said she made that move, and since has felt the culture and just the chemistry of the team kind of settle down, and they've had success. But a head coach that so many athletes get excited to have the opportunity to play for, and the development at UCF has been high since she got there.
It's softly right side of the infield. Bagshaw makes the catch. Crucial second out of the inning with two in run and scoring position.
Well, that is such a big out. Aubrey Evans, a lethal hitter, and with two runners in scoring position, to get her to stay in the infield allows UCF base runners to have to stay.
First pitch bounces in, a good block by Amezcua behind the plate. Griffin at third, Ray at second. UCF off to the early 2-0 lead after the Beth Damon home run. She's on deck.
had a lot of success against Kansas in that 3-game series. Went 4 for 9, have 5 RBIs, did have the big 3-run walk-off home run to win game 1 in inning 8. So you know that UCF being careful here with Yarnell, despite what Damon did in the first inning.
Hits it on the ground to the shortstop, Craig, ranging over, throws to first, and it's dropped. 2-run score as Yarnell reaches, and UCF doubles their lead, 4-0 in the bottom of the second.
Well, this just a ground ball off the end of the bat, slow roller. But Haley Kripe trying to throw on the run, and that throw tails away from Anna Souls at first base. That's one of those where you don't have to rush the throw. Yarnell wasn't getting down the line at a high pace, but a bad throw allows 2 runs to score.
Now here's Beth Damon, who already put one over the wall in left field. Swings at the first pitch, fouls it right side out of play. Here's another look at her home run, and heard Kat talk about forcing Partridge to throw pitches inside of right-handed hitters, and she saw the pitch she was waiting on.
She saw that inside pitch, was able to be aggressive on it. Now we've seen Partridge start to be more consistent on the outer half. You see her foul that pitch off, but has to respect both sides a little bit more here in her second at bat.
Fouls off another, and 4 of UCF's 5 hits have now come with 2 strikes. Talk about very patient at-bats.
Well, patient at-bats, and I think you can be successful in 2 strikes when you don't have to respect an off-speed. And so we haven't seen a lot of off-speed in the zone from Partridge, so therefore UCF can sit hard.
0-2, chopper third base side. Stafford has it, fires across to first. Inning comes to an end, but 2 more runs come across, and UCF takes a 4-0 lead, top of the third. Back after this. Top of the third in Oklahoma City, and UCF plating 2 more in the bottom of the second. We've got plenty more games for you the rest of the day and into the night. Baylor and Texas Tech will face off next. You see the Bears have arrived.
Bears coming off getting 1 win in Lubbock to end the season in that series.
Tech fans already in their seats, ready for that matchup.
Tech fans have just a quick drive up. I'm not shocked some of them are already here.
But yeah, Isabella Vega back in the circle. Finds the zone with the first pitch, and that first inning tossed 24 pitches. Second was only 10. Has retired 6 in a row after that leadoff single by Presley Limbaugh in that first inning, but has settled in nicely. Already ahead in the 0-2 count.
Well, here you see her spot in the outer half, spot in the inner half, not even really having to expand the zone up to get ahead. And that's going to be a key for Kansas. You have to attack Vega early in the count, force her to then have to be able to stretch the zone. But when she's throwing in and out with essentially a fastball that's not tailing away or into you very much, have to be able to split the plate, pick a side, and be aggressive.
One, two. Pops up down the left field line. Mertes almost onto the line. She makes the catch for the first out in the top of the third. And if you're Vega too, you go back out in the circle and now you have a 4-run lead. Have some run support from your offense. There is Caden Stafford, the third baseman.
Well, you mentioned the run support, and as a pitcher, it's so nice when, especially like a 4-run lead, you know one pitch is not going to make or break the game. A solo shot, yes, gives them a little bit of momentum, but you're still holding a pretty big edge. So for Vega, especially the veteran, with as much experience she has in the circle, a 4-run lead, she's welcoming that to be able to settle in mentally and emotionally more than physically.
Right. Well, on the emotion side too, this is the start of your postseason. You hope that you go on and go past the single elimination tournament, but you're also looking ahead to Selection Sunday and what's to come, and all the while knowing that your season is winding down one way or another.
Yeah, and you talk about Selection Sunday right now. At least 6 Big 12 teams are in. It looks like Kansas is going to be able to get in as well. A win today would definitely help them in that conversation, but they have put together an incredible season. The most wins under Jen McFalls and the most wins since 2015 for this program. But they are in that conversation with an RPI in the 30s right now to be able to go to postseason.
That pitch runs inside and hits Stafford. That is the first base runner since the first inning for the Jayhawks. Back to the top of the lineup with Presley Limbaugh, but talking more about the success that Kansas has had, and not really over since 2015, but really from last season to this season.
Well, yeah, last season finished 9th. This season finished 5th. You talk about the offensive records they've been able to set, the staff they're using in the circle. They were really capable of upsetting quite a few people, and let's say they go to a regional, they are not a team that you like to see in your regional because they can come in and play a very elite style ball, both offensively and defensively. And we talked Haley Kripe, the error in the second inning. She's co-defensive player of the year in the Big 12. She has been steady for them. But for Jen McFalls and staff, just an incredible year for them. And looking to be that 7th team from the Big 12 into the NCAA tournament.
Limbaugh started the game with that single in the first inning. That was a 9-pitch at bat to start off the game. Limbaugh has been called a sleeping giant by her coach. Could be shy and a little bit quiet, but is who you want in the box in moments like these, especially as your leadoff hitter.
She said she's such a pain because she's a hard out. So other teams' defenses and pitchers don't really like facing her because, as we mentioned, that first inning, she's a pesky out. And right there, she puts the ball in play hard enough to create the error at second base.
They throw over to third, but the ball gets loose again, and Limbaugh takes second. So again, puts the ball into play. Humphreys, it goes off of Humphreys' glove into right field. Good things seem to happen when Limbaugh puts the ball into play.
Well, she may not have the power numbers, but she has the consistency, and she hits this ball to second base, and you see Humphreys trying to almost side glove it and not get in front of that one, even though I think she had time, but that ball just getting away from everybody allows runners to advance. Kansas now threatening runners in scoring position.
Now that warrants a visit to the circle. Still have a 4-0 lead, but Kansas has woken up a little bit offensively here. Talk about Limbaugh. I mean, she's leading the team with .390 batting average. Brings in a 16-game on-base streak into the tournament, which she already extended in the first inning.
Oh yeah, and you talk about the improvement of Kansas, and it starts with Limbaugh, but it also starts with the fact this year they have 6 upperclassmen in the lineup. So they have, yes, gotten older, but they are more veteran heavy than they have been in the past, and that experience of those players continuing to be in the lineup from day one of their career, now paying off for Jen McFalls and staff. But Limbaugh as a senior, man, just able to do an incredible job at the top of the order, and it's like that. It's being pesky, it's finding holes, it's being able to be a spark plug when you think that maybe the team is down and out. Nope, Presley Limbaugh steps up and fires them back up.
And here is Anna Souls, who just a junior, adds a little bit of that veteran presence, but also a veteran that can take this experience into next season, further building on the Jayhawks' past couple of years. She doesn't get too high or too low, and her coach says she carries that attitude into the box, and so here she is with 2 on and 1 out in a big spot, but seems to be cool under pressure.
Big swing on a pitch up in the zone, and that's the Vega rise ball. She will get swing and misses on that when she needs to use it. They've been a little bit better about not having to hammer that pitch so much to get her behind in the count. We've seen her spotting low in the zone early in this game, but now runners on, going to try to execute that pitch a little bit more and see if she can induce either the swing and miss or the fly ball.
Count evens at 2-2. Jayhawks threatening with 2 in scoring position and just 1 out. Pitch from Vega. Fouled off.
Another rise ball, so Anna Souls is going to have to either work on getting on top of it or recognizing it a little bit earlier and laying off of it. Let's see her practice swing there, keeping her hands high.
2-2 again, and she puts it up in the air down the left field line. Foul territory. Jaime's ranging back. She makes the catch. Quick throw into the plate, and it's not in time. Kansas gets a run across. Good base running from Caden Stafford. Jayhawks are on the board for 1.
Well, a big second out in retiring Anna Souls, and with how deep it was and the fact that Jaime's was going back, you knew that Stafford was going to tag. What I'm not so sure about is the throw all the way home. If you cut that off, Presley Limbaugh has to stay at second base, and therefore a little bit harder to score than being able to move up to third here with Haley Kripe up.
Kripe had a fly out to left field back in the first inning. So the Jayhawks might just be taking advantage of not necessarily a missed play, but maybe a missed opportunity throwing into the cutoff.
And sometimes you can go for that play. You trust your pitcher, and here again, Isabella Vega, an extremely experienced and formidable pitcher in her own right, but at the same time, trade the run for an out and make sure that you just don't put someone 60 feet away. With how hard Jaime's was going back, that was going to have to be a perfect throw to nail Stafford at home plate.
Yeah, her momentum taking her further away from the plate. 2-1 to Kripe, and goes inside, but fouls it off. Evens the count.
A lot more of that rise ball from Isabella Vega here against the best hitters in Kansas lineup, the power hitters, trying to see if she can induce those fly balls. Got that one in on the hands of Kripe.
Two again, and sends it foul just below us.
It's a little ways up here.
Kripe certainly taking her time, especially with runner at third and 2 away, and Jayhawks just trying to claw their way back. As 4-0 deficit. Now they trail 4-1. Pitch now misses high. Count goes full. Third full count by Vega today. She's been so effective. Aside from that 9-pitch leadoff at bat in the first inning. Payoffs in high, again foul left field line. Mertes against the wall, just out of her reach.
For Kansas, you know you're in the dugout trying to blow that thing to the left. Get out, get out. I wasn't sure if that was going to stay in or not. Stayed in. I believe Mertes would have had a shot at grabbing that. The wall down there quite high too, so the robbery of a foul ball down the foul lines is very slim.
8th pitch of the at-bat incoming, and it misses. Ball 4, and so Kripe wins the battle, draws the walk with 2 outs. Here's Ella Boyer.
Well, similar to the UCF lineup, we said the top 5 have double-digit home runs. You take Limbaugh out of the equation, she leads in average and on-base percentage, but the next 4 have double-digit home runs all the way down to Campbell Bagshaw. So Isabel Vega flirting with a little bit of fire here in this part of the Kansas order with runners on.
Boyer, the freshman, with 18 home runs. Represents now the tying run in a 4-1 ball game. She blasts it foul left side, and she hit it well, just pulled it.
There's a lot of power in there. That went all the way to past the last row of seats. But what Ella Boyer has been able to do this year for the Jayhawks has allowed them to be able to insert her in that lineup and not miss a beat. You mentioned the 18 home runs, all Big 12 first team as a freshman. Well, obviously the freshman of the year for the Big 12.
Lifts it high to right center field. Ray moving over, emphatically saying this one's mine. She makes the catch, but the Jayhawks are on the board. Stafford scores a 1 and only run. 4-1 UCF. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. Welcome back into Devon Park, and UCF seems to have somebody warming in the bullpen after a little bit of a longer inning for Isabella Vega in the top of the third. Reagan Vokun.
As we mentioned, Sydney Baum-Malone said she had a couple arms that Kansas didn't see in that series, so wouldn't be surprised if she makes some changes to keep them off balance. She also has no problem pulling Vega and then putting her back in if she needs to close out the game.
Izzy Mertes takes a ball in the low and outside part of the plate. 2-0 count now. Flew out to left field. Her first at bat in the first inning. Lila Partridge still in the circle. Tacks her inside, but misses ball 3.
The spin of Partridge is what Jen McFalls touts. She spins it well, and we've seen some fly balls, but it's been the location so far that has been her nemesis in this game. When she's able to locate on both sides of the plate, she's been able to be in the at-bats, but when she's only locating on one half of the plate, that's when UCF has seen success.
(3-1). Swinging a high fly ball deep down the left field line. Wallace at the wall. And UCF trying to blow that one fair, but it's foul. That was close.
From up here, I wasn't so sure that it didn't cross fair and then tail foul, but third base umpire Bubba Ewald right there watching it. When it goes way higher than the foul pole, it is hard to differentiate, especially from our angle.
One of the many reasons I'm glad I'm not an umpire making those types of calls. There's the payoff, and it misses outside, ball 4, and Mertes now draws a leadoff walk to begin the bottom of the third. First walk issued by Partridge today. Here comes Sierra Humphreys, who had a single off of the pitcher in the first inning.
Well, if you're UCF, answering back right here, getting that run back that Kansas was able to put up in the top of the third, it's the goal, is answer back, and if you can put up more than one, it's bonus. But try to thwart the momentum that Kansas is starting to gain just a little bit with their offense.
Especially taking advantage of a leadoff base runner. Shows bunt, pulls back, it's a cold strike.
That might have been one of the best pitches of the day if you're Sierra Humphreys. That pitch just split the plate dead even. Whether that was a deke of a bunt to see how the defense was going to play it or an actual attempt, that was a ball that she could have put down.
Now attempts a bunt, but fouls it back for strike 2. So maybe that first was to see what the defense was going to do, and then attempts the bunt with the second offering. One ball and 2 strikes now, the count for Humphreys. The pitch. Sends it high to shallow left center field. Ranging in is the center fielder Limbaugh. She makes the catch for the first out in the bottom of the third. Holds Mertes to first.
That's the second time we've seen today the Knights try to use a bunt to move a runner, but been unsuccessful. At some point, you worry less about the fact that the corners are in and more of just executing to get that runner in scoring position.
First pitch to Jaimes, misses low and outside. Corners playing in. Jaimes hitting .295 this year. Time is called. Takes one high and inside. And you mentioned that Partridge was working east-west, not necessarily north-south, but looked like she tried to at least elevate that one.
That one looking like it went up in the zone. We saw one last half inning, too, that looked like she might have been trying to get under that.
Spoils the 2-0 pitch.
But definitely working on the inner half here against Coco Jaimez, not letting her get extended. Drive left center.
Partridge able to fire in a strike on the outer half and work her way back into the at-bat. 2-2 count now.
Well, that pitch right there is the one that Coco Jaimez wants. Be able to try to elevate, lift, and see if you can get it left center.
Puts one back to the right side of the infield. Bagshaw touches second for one, tries to turn two, but Jaimez beats out the throw. Mertes is retired, so they get the lead base runner now with 2 outs. Here's Ashley Griffin.
The pitch location there worked to perfection, trying to work Jaimez in, able to jam her to where she gets the hop right to Bagshaw for that lead out. So important as a pitcher when your defense shifts a little bit that you're able to locate where you need to, so that way the defense isn't caught out of position. In that case, Bagshaw in perfect position.
Griffin already with a hit today. Had a leadoff single in the second. Scored one of the 4 runs for UCF. 2-run homer by Beth Damon in the first inning. 2 more runs came across in the second. This is high and in that time for ball 2.
Now we're starting to see what looks like a rise ball coming into play on occasion. See if they can get UCF chasing that inside pitch while it elevates.
This is inside and high, ball 3. And so now Griffin just being patient, 3-0.
When you're 2-0, you can box it up and know that I'm only sitting in this one spot. And if it's not there, you have enough pitches in the at-bat to continue on. And whew, that was a good 3-0 pitch there by Partridge. If she can execute that height in that corner, it's going to be hard for UCF to go down with their barrel and hit that one.
Partridge now at 70 pitches. 3-1 is swing and a miss for strike 2. Count is now full with 2 outs.
Well, back-to-back pitches on the inner half, but at the knees. And I think that's the big key for Partridge. Stay down there at the knees. Don't allow that pitch to elevate too much. Otherwise, that's in the barrel path.
3-2, hit on the ground to the shortstop. Fires across to first, it's in time. Griffin is retired, 6-3. We'll talk to head coach Jennifer McFalls, head coach of Kansas. When we come back from break, head to the top of the 4th.
Being on a path trying to go to the Olympics, your life revolves around your training and making yourself better. The KRT Athletic Muscle Cream definitely makes me more confident and makes me want to go further. I started using their cream and my hamstring issues started going away. And so I use it before training, I use it after training. I am religious about this stuff. I want to be an Olympian, but I don't just want to go to the Olympics, I want to win a medal.
Old Trapper Beefs. Pack smash.
My peanut butter and jelly.
Ew.
Oh no. Yeah, I guess my ham and cheese didn't make it.
Old Trapper. What's your beef?
Now that's a great view.
Yep.
Welcome back into Oklahoma City, top of the 4th inning. UCF leading 4-1 over the Kansas Jayhawks, and we welcome in head coach Jennifer McCalls, head coach of the Jayhawks. Thank you so much for joining us here in the top of the 4th. And Coach, had some momentum in the top of the 3rd with a run coming across. How do you just continue to build off that momentum?
I think we just need to stop playing careful. I think we were a little bit tight the first couple of innings. We need to get our swing off. We got in some favorable counts. You know, got jammed on a 3-1 pitch. I mean, we're better than that. I think that we just got to trust our process. But yeah, it's a lot of game left and a lot of more opportunities.
Coach, we've been singing y'all's praises over the course of your improvement from last year to this year. Just talk about this team and what has made you guys so much more competitive in this season.
Confidence, belief, just their work ethic and their discipline that they've had all year. You know, and they want to win. They're really gritty, they're hungry, and they're fighting their tails off. And I love that. I love this team. I love what they're about. You know, I think like I said, I think we came out a little bit tight, but we gotta play a little bit looser and do our thing. They're a really good team over there, so I think we match up well. So again, a lot of game left. Let's see what happens.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Coach.
So the Jayhawks trying to keep their coach loose too. She seemed to have an audience.
Well, so many times you'll see, especially if the interview's done, where the coach's back is to the dugout. All the athletes, whether it's props or playing behind the coach, but I think she hit it on the head, and she talked to us prior to the tournament, is the confidence and the belief. She said, we're playing to win now. We're not playing not to lose. And that's a very different mindset shift when your whole program can shift to saying, yeah, we believe we can be in every game.
Bagshaw lines a foul to start off the inning, out of the reach of Mertes for strike 1. Isabella Vega out there again in the circle here in the top of the 4th. Run came across in the top of the 3rd, but UCF able to kind of control the damage a little bit and just allow that one run that inning. Bagshaw spoils another one. Vega quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. And her success has come from being very efficient. She's gone through stretches, tired 7 in a row at one point. Which now misses a little bit high for ball 1.
Pitcher, your success is always going to come with how few pitches can you retire them on, so they don't see everything you have to offer in one at bat.
That was another one back.
Closer to us. But Isabella Vega, for her, it's how quickly can you get ahead to then use your best pitch and see if you can get the chase. And I think we've talked about it on the flip side, haven't seen Partridge expand the zone a whole lot, and I think it's because she's worked from behind more often than not, and you can't really expand vertically if you're constantly working from behind. So for Vega, it's about getting ahead of these Kansas hitters and then retire them any which way you can. But both pitchers haven't seen a lot of consistent off-speed executed in the zone. So for Vega, if she can get that off-speed pitch going, that'll be a game changer here in later innings.
So far, Bagshaw has been fouling off a lot of pitches. This is low and inside, and they do check. She did not go around. Not even 2-2 count, but you said Vega doesn't necessarily want them to see a lot of pitches in every at-bat, but Bagshaw so far has seen quite a few.
And those veteran hitters obviously very familiar with what she throws, so from last year to this year, there's not a dramatic difference as far as like she's throwing a drop ball 40% of the time when she didn't last year. She's just trying to use her tools a little differently this year. So those returning hitters definitely have the advantage as far as being able to pick a spot, especially early in the count.
Now bounces one in and hits Bagshaw. And the Jayhawks have a leadoff base runner in the top of the 4th.
Well, that was supposed to be the change-up that she was trying to execute against Bagshaw there, and that falls out early. And despite Bagshaw trying to see if she can move, that bounces right into her. And a hitter that's in the box. If the ball's coming at you in the box, you don't have to move out of the way. And so Bagshaw takes that to give Kansas a leadoff base runner.
Ansley Linduff now on the left side. She shows bunt, puts it third base side. They throw to second, get the lead base runner, unable to turn two. But heads up defense by the Knights. They get Bagshaw at second base, Linduff now at first.
Well, Coco Jaime is just on top of this bunt, and not extremely hard, but hard enough, and you know that Evans over there is yelling for two, knowing that they have time. A lot of times your third baseman will just default and go to one, but great communication by UCF defense to retire the lead runner. That's a big play there for UCF on that bunt.
It'll be Bailey Weber now pinch running for Linduff. That throw from Jaime's too, I mean, that was a perfect strike to second.
That's one of those plays, you practice it over and over and over, but there's few times in a game you actually get to execute it, but right there, it was executed to perfection by the Knights. And such a big play just to thwart any momentum. For Kansas, you think you're getting a runner in scoring position, and then all of a sudden a big defensive play erases that.
Here's Wallace with one on and one out.
Not too deep, Ray.
Finds the zone and the count evens 1-1.
Well, for Vega right now, we've seen two changeups now roll to the plate. Early in the game, it wasn't landing in the zone, but it was still in the air to where Kansas had to watch it. So it still changed timing a little bit. But when it never makes it there, it's a difference.
Wallace gives this a ride back to right field, and this ball is gone. It's a two-run blast for Ava Wallace. Pulls the Jayhawks to within one in the top of the fourth inning.
Well, Kansas plays better when they're loose, and you can tell they're starting to loosen up here. Ava Wallace takes a pitch up in the zone and drives that, and no doubter off the bat as that went high and out of right field. But you see the celebration bubbles, the hugs. Kansas making this a game now in the fourth.
Bailey Mescua looking to build off that. That one gets away from Vega.
Well, that's a changeup as well, and that pitch just starting to be less and less competitive. We saw it roll there, that one nowhere close. So Vega gonna have to refocus. That pitch doesn't have to be in the zone, but it just has to be close enough around the zone that Kansas has to respect it and watch it all the way in. As someone who didn't have a ton of off speed, when you do throw it, you just have to make sure it's somewhere close that they watch it, change their timing just enough, then you can go back with your bread and butter.
Well, and there's the bread and butter of today, that inside pitch to right-handers for a called strike.
So UCF getting a second pitcher up in the pen. Lena Elkins getting ready.
Takes it high for ball two. A lot of celebration by the Jayhawks fans in attendance. It's this one on the ground right side. Humphreys collects, throws to first. That takes care of the second out of the inning. Here's Caden Stafford.
You know that Kansas knows they can win this game. They took a game in the series, they played them close, went 8 innings in game 1 of the series, and it was a Vega and Partridge matchup to start with. And I'm not surprised when Coach McFall says she thought her team was a little tense, because for Kansas, they are in a territory, for those of them that have been in the program for 4 years, which is all 4 seniors that are in the starting lineup. This is new territory as far as you're playing for a postseason bid. And that's not something they've had on their backs up to this point in their careers. And you try to not let that affect you, but when you know the outcome of a game could help those chances, get a little tense, try to do too much, start to put a little more on the game than just approaching it the way you have all season.
Well, we have teams in the tournament who know that their seasons will continue past Saturday, but right, it's a little bit extra pressure for the Jayhawks. On one, it's swing and a miss, strike 2.
We talk about it. Utah has to win the tournament in order to make postseason. Kansas very much in the conversation. And obviously the other 6 teams pretty much a lock to represent the Big 12 in the NCAAs.
Vega gets the strikeout to end the inning, but it was a 2-run homer by Ava Wallace, and the Jayhawks are knocking on the door. They trail 4-3 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Back after this. Bottom of the 4th here in Oklahoma City, now joined by head coach Cindy Ball-Malone of UCF. And coach, you had the home run by Beth Damon in the 1st inning, played it 2 more runs in the 2nd. What do you have to do to sustain that fast start and sustain success here against the Jayhawks?
Yeah, I think we just need to loosen up again. I think we tightened up a little bit offensively in the last couple innings with runners in scoring position. And I mean, we got a lot of game left still.
Coach Isabella Vega got off to a great start, starting to get into a little bit of trouble. What's the conversation with her? Are you looking to make a change going into next inning?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go in and talk to her, but that's the thing. Like, this game is just so crazy now, and with as much movement as she has, I know we hit about her and something else, but then what a comeback, what a recovery. We talk about play, recover, play, and I love how she came back after that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us.
Thank you. Go Knights.
And she is right. Vega recovered well after giving up the 2-run home run. And they have enough pitchers in their staff that she can wait almost until she needs to make a change. But, man, as a coach, sometimes it's hard. You want to ride the horse that gets you here, but at the same time, sometimes you have to make that change in order to stay in the game.
Well, and you can even go back to her 1st inning, giving up that leadoff single to Limbaugh, retire the next 3 she faced. So she's able to bounce back quickly. As bottom of the 4th is led off with a single by Calvez to center field.
Well, and it's interesting, both coaches talking to us about feeling the tenseness of their team. For Kansas, it was at the beginning. For UCF, there in the middle. And here, Calvez just doing enough, not driving it super hard, just kind of chopping at that and able to bloop that in to center field. But that's what UCF needs. Get base runners on, just play the game. The big thing here, and we mentioned it a couple innings ago, they have not been able to put the sack bunt down. They're going to have to find a way to execute to move the runner into scoring position. They're trying to bunt, commit to the bunt.
See an attempt there by Samantha Ray. Just shy of a 400 batting average this season. Alves tags it first, puts one back to the circle. Partridge bobbles it and can't get the throw off in time. And so now UCF didn't just move the base runner, but now they have 2 on, nobody out, and here's the top of the lineup.
Well, Samantha Ray with good speed, she chops this, so the likelihood that Calvez is gonna be at second is high, but as Partridge tries to take a look at second, she bobbles that. And that's the type of play, knowing your speed, you have to commit. Which base are you going to? And she just takes her eyes off that one, and now UCF with 2 on.
Aubrey Evans at the plate. She shows bunt, puts it back well past Partridge. Souls has it, throws to first. Sacrifice successful that time as Calvez moves to third and Ray to second.
First thought this might actually end up as a base hit too. Evans pushes this and you see it get past Partridge, as you mentioned, but Souls right there able to record the first out. First sack bunt executed by UCF, but in a big situation to allow the Knights possibly to get back the 2 runs they gave up in the top of the 4th.
Yarnell takes a pitch outside. And just a 1-run cushion now after the Jayhawks put up 1 in the top of the 3rd, 2 in the top of the 4th. Outside again.
Remember, Kansas going to have Yarnell circled on their lineup card. She did have the big 3-run walk-off home run in game 1 of their series. 5 RBIs that weekend. Really, she's been able to be clutch for UCF all year long. Third in RBIs, but 14 home runs, tied for the team lead with Beth Damon. Well, Beth Damon had one earlier today, so she went up. Coming into today, tied for the lead.
Pitch misses again, ball 3.
But with them back-to-back, as a pitcher, it's a pick your poison, right? You have to figure out, am I gonna go after Yarnell or am I gonna go after Damon as you're carefully pitching around Yarnell?
Pitch misses outside, ball 4, so issue a walk to Yarnell, and now the bases are loaded for Beth Damon. Second walk issued by Partridge today. Beth Damon, of course, with that 2-run homer in the first inning.
Coach is playing a little bit of a timeout game. It looked like Cindy Ball Malone was going to come out and talk to Beth Damon, but she stopped as she saw Kansas pitching coach head out. And they're both pointing and saying, no, she called it, she called it.
Kansas knows Damon can do damage. Did this in the first inning, a 2-run homer. Really brought the momentum to UCF's side early on before adding on 2 more runs in the second and had a 4-0 lead. But right now, Jayhawks have had the momentum go their way as they have scored 3 unanswered runs since the 3rd inning.
And the Jayhawks just slowly chipping away. They got the big 2-run home run by Ava Wallace top half of this inning. I think Cindy Ball Malone out there talking to Beth Damon like, hey, they're probably not giving you that inside pitch again that you put to left field. So I need you to think, kind of saw her pointing almost towards right center, the 220 that's not quite dead right center, but a little bit to the right of the center fielder. I think her message is just punish. Find a way to punch back right here.
Takes first pitch outside for ball 1.
curveball just missing from Partridge, but it has been just about a half a ball off the plate all day long, and you can tell UCF not biting at that pitch until they have to.
And again, a really similar location that time, again outside, and Damon does not offer. Bases loaded, 1 out. Tacks her inside for a called strike.
That was the pitch that she had out earlier. Not sure if she had the take or if it was more of let me get my inside pitch. That was her wheelhouse.
This is outside, and Damon's home run came off a 2-1 pitch. And now she will see a 3-1 pitch. Pitch, grounds at third base side. They tap third for 1, across to first for 2. How about an inning-ending double play? UCF comes up empty as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Kansas keeps it at a 1-run game. UCF on top, 4-3.
The main obstacle has been the same throughout my life, is you're not big enough, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough. And so just kind of having that chip on my shoulder of like, all right, head first down some ice, that's the way we're gonna go. Working with KRT Athletic Muscle Cream has helped me improve every aspect of my physicality. So being able to have my muscle, my joints, and my tendons healthy, not cramp up, and be ready to achieve the extra reps, because those extra reps are what's gonna make the difference between a medal and a non-medal.
Hell of a good.
Seriously? No hell of a good dip?
Whoa, creamy. A double dip. Where's Jill?
Hell of a good.
It's not a party without hell of a good.
Hell of a good.
Hello?
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
UCF goes to the bullpen. Tori Payne, the freshman, will take over in the circle. Isabella Vega pitched the first 4 innings, but now Payne will handle the top of the lineup for Kansas.
Coach Cindy Von Malone talking to us about the pitching staff, and she felt like Payne has really been coming on as of lately. Just going to throw low 60s. We're going to see the vertical separation with a rise and a drop. She will mix in a little bit of a screwball, but you mentioned there she's had the hot hand, as I mentioned, throwing some really good outings in the last couple weeks for the Knights.
It'll be Presley Limbaugh lead off here in the top of the 4th, and it's been a close 1-run game. Jayhawks able to turn a double play to end the bottom of the 4th. First pitch just misses off the plate for ball 1.
I want to see Payne go a lot arm side, so up and down into righties, away to lefties. She'll stretch it even farther into righties. That's kind of her forte. Now we're going to have to attack the zone. A little different look than what Isabella Vega gave them.
And Limbaugh already have a multi-hit game with a pair of singles. Not an easy out. She has the advantage on a 3-0 count. The pitch. Low and outside. It's a 4-pitch leadoff walk to begin the 5th.
Last pitch close, but as a pitcher, you go in, you have to set the tone, show the umpire you're going to attack the zone. A lot of times you don't get that borderline pitch until you've proven that you can throw strikes.
Here's Anna Souls.
It happened so quickly, and we got off air for the commercial break, but that double play off the bat of Beth Damon, such a momentum killer for UCF, but a momentum builder for Kansas. Kansas to get out of a situation where it looked like UCF could take a commanding lead if Beth Damon were able to barrel one up. That's something for Kansas to build on, especially now with the leadoff walk added to that.
And you've almost felt like Kansas has been building that already on the offensive side of things, but to have UCF threaten with the bases loaded in the 4th and then to get out of that with a double play of all things, you definitely feel like Kansas is almost controlling this game. They're just down by a run, but you feel like they're knocking on that door right now.
Oh yeah, Kansas just chipping away, knowing that there's a lot of ball game left, knowing they don't have to try to win it with one swing. Just being able to build a bat after a bat and inning after inning right now.
2-0 count now for Anna Souls, and Tori Payne still has yet to find the strike zone yet. This is outside again for ball 3.
Well, Payne was one of those pitchers that Cindy Ball-Malone did not use in the series against Kansas, so they have not seen the freshman. However, right now, the freshman unable to throw a strike.
Finds a zone on the 3-0 pitch for a called strike 1.
If you're a UCF fan, that's a welcomed announcer's jinx.
Limbaugh at first. Here's the 3-1. That misses ball 4. Back-to-back walks to begin the top of the 5th. Tying run now at second for Kansas, and the go-ahead run at first. There is Haley Kripe. And we'll have a pinch runner over at first base. And a visit. Lizzie Ludwig over at first base, or excuse me, Audrey Youngblood.
Looks like Cindy Ball-Malone might be making a pitching change already. Timeout, just still a little time to get her arm back in.
So it does look like Cindy Ball-Malone will be going to the bullpen. We will step aside. Knights trying to hold on to a 4-3 lead in the top of the 5th with 2 on, nobody out. Lena Elkins takes over for the Knights in the circle after back-to-back walks issued by Tori Payne. Head coach making a change. Elkins, the senior, a 3.12 ERA with 19 strikeouts, has made 17 appearances but has 2 saves on the year.
Well, Elkins, another arm that as of lately has been able to get the job done for Cindy Ball Malone. Going to be low 60s. She's going to use a little bit of everything. She can hit all zones. We'll use an off-speed pitch to keep hitters off balance. So really a different look where we saw Isabella Vega just going up in the zone. I think Payne was trying to use that screwball that she was unable to successfully locate. But Elkin's going to be able to come in with a curve, screw, rise, drop, spin it, and hopefully get some defensive balls that UCF can make plays on and keep Kansas scoreless.
Haley Kripe stands in on the right side with 2 on, nobody out. A huge spot for the Jayhawks. They trail by 1 in the top of the 5th. Puts down a bunt. Third baseman cuts it off, throws to first, and it's successful this time for Kansas, moving both base runners. Limbaugh to third, Youngblood to second.
Well, last time we saw Kansas sack, Jaimes was able to go to second because she could play in, but here with Kripe, had to play a little bit farther back. She is aggressive, makes a smooth throw over to first. But Kansas 2 in scoring position now.
Here's Ella Boyer, 0 for 2. Takes the first pitch low. Boyer ground out and a fly out today. Tying run at third base. Go ahead run at second for Kansas. Puts it up in the air to center field. Ray moving over, reaches up, she makes the catch. Tagging at third is Limbaugh, and the Jayhawks have tied it up. They have scored 4 unanswered runs. We're knotted up at 4 in the top of the 5th inning.
There by Samantha Ray, realizing how deep that was and knowing her own arm that she wouldn't have a play at home. Able to make the throw to third, though, to keep Youngblood at second.
Campbell Bagshaw now at the plate. Takes the first pitch, and Kansas with the go-ahead run at second. Skies it down the right field line. Caught just in front of the warning track for the final out of the inning. But Kansas ties us up at 4. We head to the bottom of the 5th here in Oklahoma City. Back in Oklahoma City, we've got ourselves a brand new ball game, tied at 4. Jayhawks tied the game up in the top of the 5th inning. They scored 4 unanswered runs after the Knights scored their runs between the first and second innings. It's been Jayhawks ever since. Mertez in on the right side. First pitch, a called strike inside. Mertez a walk and a fly out today.
really been all Jayhawks because they've taken advantage of the opportunities they've been given. UCF has had opportunities to pull ahead in this game.
Mertez drives it into the gap in right center field, heading towards second, and is there with a leadoff stand-up double. So here's another opportunity for UCF. Go-ahead run in scoring position for Sierra Humphreys.
In our interview, Coach Cindy Ball-Malone said she liked how Vega played and respond. Right now, UCF offense hasn't responded to the runs they've given up on the defensive side, but Izzy Mertez giving them some life with a leadoff double. The key here now is for Humphreys and Jaimes to have quality at bats behind her.
Humphreys already with a single in the first inning. Spoils the first pitch foul for strike one. Humphreys with 56 RBI. Now drives it into right field, ranging over now backwards, makes the catch. Tagging at second is Mertez, and she's able to advance up a base. UCF with the go-ahead run at third.
Nice drive by Humphreys to get it far enough that Mertez easily was going to tag and get to third. And as you mentioned, Linda ended up having to take a couple steps back as she was settling under that. So even easier to tag with no momentum going forward from the outfielder.
Coco Jaimes now in on the left side. Field playing in. Puts one on the ground right side. Second baseman Bagshaw looks to third, but does not actually make a throw to first. Base hit for the Knights, and they have runners on the corners, one away.
Well, the infield's playing in with the runner at third, and Jaimes hits this not incredibly hard, but Mertez does her job over at third base to deep going enough that Bagshaw had to check her, hesitate, and then can't get Jaimes with the speed she has.
And now for UCF, 8 of their hits have come from 8 different players. So you talk about production right now for the Knights, and they're doing a fantastic job of everyone is coming to the plate and at least getting some production.
When you ask Coach Cindy Ball-Malone again about the run production, she said it's any one person any day. It is not just Beth Damon. It is not just Kendall Yarnell. Samantha Ray down at the bottom can do it. And as we've seen today, obviously just there, Coco Jaimes with 2 fielder's choice balls in play, but has been able to do things. So I think when you have a lineup that 1 through 9, there's not really a hole, or there's not somebody who necessarily outperforms everybody else. As a pitcher and a defense, you have to be on at all times.
Yeah, you cannot take an at-bat off, and now you have Ashley Griffin. Already has a hit, but also has scored one of the 4 runs.
UCF also now in a territory where they can run a first and third and see how Kansas is going to play out the defensive side of that. Are they going to try to go for the runner at second? Mertez be on her horse to try to get home, or are they going to let UCF put 2 runners in scoring position?
Lila Partridge still in the circle here in her 5th inning. Fires in a strike, going outside part of the plate.
Well, there's the curveball that Partridge has been trying to use through the course of this game. The location of it has been off and on, but if she can continue to start to hone that in and have both sides of the plate, UCF is going to have a little more difficult time hitting her.
She sends it high to left field. Wallace back on it. Reaches up, she makes the catch. Runner tags at third. There won't be a play to the plate. And UCF is back out in front, 5-4 in the bottom of the 4th inning.
UCF just playing fundamental softball, a deep enough fly ball, and you could tell both swings from Humphreys and now Griffin. They're just trying to drive it deep into the outfield. 2 sac flies that have allowed Mertez to advance and score.
Here's Zoe Calvez, singled in the fourth. She was left on at third base. Lines the first pitch she sees, foul right side for strike one.
If Calvez kept that ball fair, she might have burned Linduff down there in right field.
UCF scoring for the first time since the second. Talked about it's kind of been the Jayhawks show here in the middle innings. Calvez takes a strike outside and quickly down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
I think the key was, you could tell Ashley Griffin, while she was trying to make sure she got a ball deep enough that Mertez could score, she wasn't trying too hard to muscle a hit in. So was able to let her barrel work and get that sac fly. Coach Bob Malone telling us she feels like her team was tense with runners in scoring position. You can't will them in. You have to continue to play the game the way you have over the course of the season. Obviously, early in this game, they were loose and ready to go. Can't tense up as soon as another team starts chipping away.
Another 0-2 from Partridge. This is high, ball 1. One, 2, misses, bounces in front of the plate. The count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes. UCF looking to build on this 1-run lead with Jaime's over at first base, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Swings over the top of it for strike 3. And what an exclamation point in the bottom of the 5th. That is Partridge's first strikeout of the day, but UCF takes the lead 5-4 as we head to the top of the 6th inning in Oklahoma City. Top of the 6th inning here in Oklahoma City, and so far this has been living up to what we sort of expected, with the Knights taking the lead early. 8 hits by 8 different players right now, and then you have the 2-run blast by Wallace for Kansas in the top of the 4th, and then Knights able to take the lead back in the bottom of the 5th. Ainsley Linduff back in the batter's box. First pitch misses outside, ball 1.
Elkins now out for her 2nd inning of work after relieving Tori Payne, who started the 5th. Kansas did see Elkins in the series, but 3.2 innings, only gave up 1 hit and just 2 free passes. So not a lot of success in the brief outings that Kansas had are against Elkins.
Right. Stay there.
And Kansas has done a really good job of capitalizing on their free passes. Their 4 runs have been when they've reached with 2 hit by pitches, a walk, and then a home run. So able to take advantage of some mistakes by UCF.
Nice off-speed pitch there by Elkins. That's a pitch that UCF hasn't been able to use in zone so far today. So Cindy Ball-Malone going to take advantage of Elkins' ability to control that pitch.
1-2, misses outside. Linduff reached in the top of the 4th inning. And scored off the 2-run homer by Ava Wallace, who's on deck. Just misses low. That one was close, and now the count goes full.
Throwing a little drop on the outer half, see if she can get Linduff to chase. Just a hair below the knees.
Payoff misses high, ball 4. It's a leadoff walk. There's another free pass to the Jayhawks. So far, they've been making the best out of them. Here's Ava Wallace.
Leadoff walks. I don't know if it's an actual scientific or mathematic fact, but everyone says they score about 70 to 80% of the time, but you never want to let the first hitter on for free.
I think I've heard that same statistic, and I agree. I don't know if it's real or not, but I've heard it so many times. I feel like it must be.
Well, I'll just say it's real, but they do score. And, you know, to your point earlier, the leadoff walk in the 5th is what gave the Jayhawks the ability to tie this game. So for UCF, it's limiting the free passes and really across the board this year. And you know, you and I got to talk to a lot of the coaches into this tournament. Coach Glenn Moore talked about it. He's like, too many free passes, too many inefficient innings or inefficient bats by pitchers. And as a pitcher, it is about your efficiency and your ability to attack the zone and then retire the hitter.
Ava Wallace attempts a bunt to move now the pinch runner, Maddie Hayes, but it goes foul for down the first base side for strike 1. I feel like that has to be a tough balance of you don't want to issue the free passes, but you still have to attack the hitter. And right now, there's so many fantastic hitters in the conference. That's a tough balance. Puts down a bunt. Third baseman Jaimes throws to first, and quick throw to second, trying to get Hayes off the second base bag. It looks like she sort of overran it a little bit more than maybe even she expected. Able to get back just in time.
Well, I think with this bunt and Jaime's fielding it, Hayes thought she was going to go to third, but then third gets covered, so she has to make up ground. Now she does dive back well wide of the outside part of the bag, which forces UCF to have to stretch to tag her. Yeah, I think she thought she had third base easy and then saw that it was getting covered and had to put on the brakes.
And now UCF is challenging that call.
I'm interested to see if Evans feels like she really did have the hand before it got to the back part of the bag. But remember, any evidence has to be conclusive in order to overturn it. Call in the field will stand if it's even questionable, which is safe. It has to be obvious evidence that her hand got in there before the tag, or the tag got there before the hand.
That one looks close, and I think she got her hand. It looked like, at least.
You see, she went back around because she knew the ball was coming in. I think the question is going to be coming from Evans if she kept her hand on the bag or not. From both of those looks, you still can't see her hand behind the bag, and that's going to be the key if there's an angle there.
This would be huge for Kansas too. I mean, this represents the tie and run for the Jayhawks. Here's another angle.
Well, it looks like the question is, does her hand stay on the bag? And I don't know that you can see that from that angle.
From that particular angle, it did look like her hand definitely got into the bag.
Yeah, I think Evans is asking to review, not because it got there, but did it stay on as she continued? Because remember, that's an awkward way back as she was coming back to the bag, but also tried to angle herself to get to that back corner.
So Kansas, the call stands. Kansas keeps the runner at second, and Hayes.
Well, the verbiage of that is so crucial. They didn't necessarily have evidence that said she for sure stayed on the bag, but they didn't have any that said she necessarily pulled off. So that's where the call on the field is so important, because it can only be overturned if they have conclusive evidence to say, yes, it can be overturned.
First pitch to Mezcua is called strike. Kansas, 1 out, 1 at second will be the tying run for the Jayhawks. Takes another one, and the count evens 1-1. UCF took the lead back at the bottom of the 5th inning, capitalizing on a leadoff double by Izzy Mertes. 1-1, misses outside. Another close pitch by Lena Elkins. That goes to 2-1.
Well, as much as that looked like it might have gotten a swing, Bubba Ewald down there at third base, the right call, that barrel didn't get across the plate. But Elkins mixing speeds well, so Kansas going to be more off balance than they were earlier against Vega and Payne.
It's a swing and a miss there, and the count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. Al puts it up, shallow left center field. Ranging back is the shortstop Evans. She makes the catch. Second out, top of the 6th inning. Here comes Cadence Stafford.
Really like the way Elkins is being able to use multiple pitches. We saw Vega going fastballs, rise ball. The changeup wasn't in play today. Payne couldn't find the zone, but Elkins has come in. We've seen the changeup in the zone, a good curveball.
First pitch swinging, lines it to center field. Charging in is Ray. She's going to throw to the plate, but it's not in time. A run comes across. What a hit by Stafford, and the Jayhawks tie this game up in the top of the 6th. We're tied at 5.
Well, this pitch down in the zone, but over the plate. And Stafford just drives that right back up the middle. Maddie Hayes with a ton of speed. This is what she's used for, the crucial runs. Able to get herself home easily. And Stafford into scoring position on the throw. Samantha Ray gave them a good throw, but Maddie Hayes has really good speed, and she has been used to be the tying and go-ahead run quite often with Kansas.
And here you find Presley Limbaugh back to the top of the lineup, which I feel like when the Jayhawks start building that momentum, it always finds its way to Limbaugh, who has been on base 3 times today, 2 singles and a walk. Pitch misses low and outside, count evens 1-1. So again, that leadoff batter doing leadoff batter things.
It's the free passes. That's 2 leadoff walks that have scored for Kansas, both in the 5th and now in the 6th inning. That hit by Stafford, just the first hit Kansas has gotten off of Elkins. And really just the second they've gotten off of her all season.
Sends it foul third base side. But for Stafford, I mean, that's her second hit of the day. Scored the first run for Kansas and then drives home the tying run here in the 6th. 1-2. Swing, and she lines it left center field. Ray, though, is able to make the grab. Inning comes to an end, but we're tied again, tied at 5 this time. We head to the bottom of the 6th here in Oklahoma City, Kansas, and UCF. Bottom of the 6th back in Oklahoma City, and Kansas UCF going back and forth now in these later innings, tied at 5. Kansas got a run across in the top of the 6th inning. Jayhawks go into the bullpen. It is Chloe Barber, 5'11" junior, taking over for Lila Partridge.
Chloe Barber coming in with the most experience, coming over from Wichita State. Gave Kansas an arm that had been well seasoned at the Division I level.
First pitch swinging by Ray, popped up, foul territory, and 1 pitch, 1 out. Pretty efficient start to the bottom of the 6th.
Just what you like to see. I have to imagine that UCF going to be, again, familiar with even Chloe Barber, know what they're looking for. Now it's a matter of getting on time. She's going to throw mid-60s, a lot of upspin, screw curve, will use the rise, but we've talked about it all game. The off-speed is crucial, especially in these lineups where the offense goes 1 through 9. There is not a hole, so you have to be able to keep everyone off balance by proving you can throw an off-speed in the zone.
Back to the top of the order now with Aubrey Evans, who takes the first pitch. This is high for ball 2.
And there you see it, either a curveball or an outside rise ball. I have to think it's probably a curveball that's just missing high. She's getting under it a little bit, but that upspin is what she's going to use. Trying to do some fly balls.
High again, ball 3. So right now, Evans just being patient, 3-0 count. High ball 4. Following the out on the first pitch of the inning, now it's a 4-pitch walk issued to Aubrey Evans. Puts the go-ahead run at first for the Knights. Here is Kendall Yarnell.
I talked about it. Kansas has cashed in on the free passes. We'll see now if UCF can do that on the flip side. One less out to work with, but still the ability to get the base runner on for free.
Yarnell has had a lot of production today. Reach base 3 times and make it a 4th. She's hit by a pitch, and now the Knights. Runners at first and second with 1 out, and here it comes Beth Damon.
Pitch getting away from Barber. Trying to go up and in, and that gets, not just nicks the elbow brace, that gets Yarnell's elbow. Barber did throw the last 1.2 innings of that 8-inning game that these two teams had, and have to imagine she had Yarnell circled in her mind because Yarnell is the one that hit that 3-run home run, so trying to stay tight against her there in that at-bat.
That's Kalista Birkenstock as the pinch runner, taking over for Yarnell at first base, and here's Damon. 2-run blast in the first inning. Pair of groundouts ever since the first pitch she sees to center field. Limbaugh drifting back onto the warning track, makes the catch. Tagging at second is Evans. She advances to third. Runners on the corners, 2 away now.
Deep drive by Damon, but not enough to get it out of here, and too much air for that to get past Limbaugh in center field. First, wasn't sure if Evans was going to go back and tag. She was off the bag for quite a bit, especially with Limbaugh still drifting back and back. Another first and third situation. See if UCF uses their pinch runner. Try to bait a throw.
Ortiz takes a strike inside for first pitch she sees. Doubled and scored a run in her last at bat in the 5th. Piece of it, a foul tip for strike 2.
Both those pitches over the heart of the plate. Ortiz just not on time.
Misses high, and Birkenstock takes a wide open second base. You were wondering if they were going to try and get a throw, but they decide not to.
Wasn't sure, and Birkenstock took off, but didn't dead sprint all the way too. You saw and Mezgua fake the throw, not a hard fake though, so Evans stays at third.
1-2, misses high and inside, and now Birkenstock taking a pretty sizable lead off a second with that throw.
A lot of teams won't backpick the runner at second. Occasionally you'll see some, but not very often, and so that second runner at second going to take the lead in case there is a base hit, give herself a bigger jump to be able to score.
Mertes stays alive, fouls another one off.
You know, I wasn't a speedster by any means, wasn't on the bases a lot, but I have to imagine if you're someone like Birkenstock where you know your primary role is pinch running, you're going to go in and do everything you can to make sure that you excel in that situation as much as possible. And for her right now, if scoring on a base hit is exactly what they need.
Well, back to your point about a possible back pick, that's kind of a risky move too with the runner at third. 2 outs, make one mistake, a run scores, or you're successful and you get out of the inning, but that is such a huge gamble. 2-2 again, swinging a foul ball again into the seats below us. Izzy Mertes working a good long at bat against Chloe Barber, who has been relatively efficient. I mean, with a hit by pitch and a walk, but has been short at bats against Beth Damon and Samantha Ray as well.
Again, Barber not known for her off speed. It's a pitch she has that McFall says when it's on, it makes her performances elite. You can tell right now, just centering on the hard stuff. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and a huge out for Chloe Barber.
UCF strands 2 as we head to the top of the 7th. Still tied at 5 in Oklahoma City. Top of the 7th, and what a fun game this has been so far. Back and forth between the Jayhawks and the Knights. It's something we expected between the 4 and 5 seeds, but a fantastic game to kick off a day full of softball. For Kansas, Anna Souls to lead things off. And Elkins in the circle, and there you see the Baylor team just looking on and waiting for their turn.
After a while, you warm up, you do all the things, and there you see Tech as well up on the hill. That's probably one of my favorite places to watch these games from. We used to sit out there on that hill quite a bit. That was before the covered structure was down there for the pitchers, but get warm and everything, and then when games run just a little bit long, you have to take a seat and be a spectator.
1-0 to Souls, and it's almost reminiscent of like Little League days, sitting out under the tree, under the shade, just watching and waiting for your turn.
I'm sure for Tech, some of it is out there. They're not bugged by parents and or fans. Obviously, they have a very talented lineup, but Nyjah Kennedy, who's done tons for our sport and the Big 12, transferring to Texas Tech. Can't imagine she'd sit there in the stands and be left alone before her game.
3-0 pitch finds a strike low and outside.
Elkins locating that off-speed pitch in a hitter's count. Still gonna have to hit that a couple more times if she's gonna retire Anna Souls.
Souls takes it the other way down the left field line. That's a base hit. Jayhawks with a leadoff base runner again. They're in the top of the 7th. Each of the last 2 innings, they've had one. They've scored.
The last 4 innings, they have been able to get the leadoff runner on. This time by a base hit, though. Anna Souls, the second changeup, and that would not necessarily hit hard, but she got enough barrel of it to get it out to left field.
Haley Craig now, and had a sacrifice in the 5th, worked a walk in the 3rd. Tries to put a bunt down here, and it just rules foul.
I got to love the unselfishness of Haley Kripe. An incredible hitter. She has double-digit home runs. Hitting .361, but Jen McFalls twice is like, I need you to put runners in scoring position, and able to put the sac bunt down in the 5th. Now looking to do it again here. Wouldn't be surprised if she squares on this pitch as well.
Attempts again, but fouls it off for strike 2.
If you want something to succeed, don't let me talk about it.
But like you mentioned in her numbers, I mean, she's a threat to do any other offensive feat in this situation as well. 0-2.
Yeah, we talked about in the 5th, her sack was so successful because of the power she possesses. So Coco Jaimes couldn't play as far in as she did earlier in the game when Lindoff sack bunted. And now Kripe gonna have to work the count and find a way on.
It's a piece of it again and stays alive.
Speed pitch there by Elkins, just a little high in the zone. I think that's a little bit lower. She gets an easy ground ball or even a swing and miss.
Kripe has cut down on her strikeout numbers from last season. A great job in the box. Here's the 1-2. Swing and lines it to center field. Ray initially comes charging in, slows abruptly and makes the catch. Well hit, but right at Ray for the first down the top of the 7th.
That was a very well struck ball, and as you mentioned, Ray looked like she was going to come in, and how many times I've seen center fielders where they think it's a low liner, they need to come in and catch, and it continues on the up and up, but heads up by Ray to freeze for a minute, see where that really was going to take her.
Here's Ella Boyer. Cold strike low and outside, and Boyer broke the Kansas freshman home run record April 4th. 18 on the year, was named the unanimous Big 12 Freshman of the Year.
There are a lot of times coaches bring in a highly touted freshman and they expect them to come in and play a piece. There's not a lot of times you expect them to come in and be your 4-hole and lead you in home runs and do all the things, but Jennifer McFall is extremely excited about the future of Ella Boyer. Obviously, in this day and age with NIL and the portal, she's going to have to work to keep her, but I think the culture there speaks for itself, because as we talk about the 4 seniors, all who are putting up great offensive numbers, they're all 4-year Jayhawks. And so they have bought into being able to impact and grow this program.
Boyer being very patient with 2 strikes. Count evens 2-2 with 1 on, 1 out. Top of the 7th, tied at 5.
I also liked Jen McFall was talking about Ella Boyer. She said she partnered up with Kripe. She's basically in Kripe's back pocket, follows her around. When they go work together.
Lines it to right field. That's a base hit. And Chavez kind of bobbles it, but no one will advance off the bobble. And now the Jayhawks, runners at first and second, 1 away. And there is Boyer again, being impressive as a freshman with a 2-strike approach, still able to move the base runner.
Well, going with a curveball from Elkins, and despite going 0 for 3 on the day, responding with a single here in the top of the 7th to put a runner in scoring position. And again, Jen McFall is talking about, as seasons go on, Boyer is starting to learn how to deal with failure, not letting 0 for 3 affect that 4th at bat.
First pitch to Bagshaw. Right over the plate for a called strike.
A lot of change-ups early in the count by Elkins. And or in hitter's count, so you can tell she's trying to use that to disrupt the timing. Have to be able to follow it with something that the hitter has to follow in, and that pitch just too far off the plate.
Go ahead run for the Jayhawks at second base. Puts it on the ground, up the middle and through. That's a base hit. Rhea overruns the ball. A run scores, and Kansas is back out in front. 6-5 in the top of the 7th.
Well, Bagshaw with just an easy ground ball up the middle. And Jen McFalls was waiting to see how Ray fielded this before sending Anna Souls, because Anna Souls, while she can move, is not the fastest runner, but as soon as the bobble hits, McFalls sends Anna Souls home. The leadoff single, the difference to get this inning going for Kansas, able to allow them to take the lead.
So those leadoff base runners, that's going to be the storyline of this game for Kansas. And it is Isabella Vega re-entering the game now for the Knights.
Well, in 5 of 7 innings, Kansas got the leadoff hitter on. It took them until the third, to cash in, and that wasn't even a leadoff hitter. But since then, the leadoff hitter has sparked something in their offense. Kansas just continuing to stay in this game, chip away, and give themselves some life.
And it's going to be Emma Tatum at the plate now. It's Isabella Vega will warm up in the circle, and Vega obviously pitched the first 4 innings of this game and at moments looked really solid, but gave up a 2-run homer by Ava Wallace in the top of the 4th inning.
We mentioned Elkins threw 3.2 in the series, only giving up 1 hit, but Kansas adjusting here in the 7th and able to just continue to pile on singles. But it's the ability to have 4 quality at-bats here in the top of the 7th, because even though Haley Kripe was retired, that pitch was hit hard, just right on a line to Samantha Ray.
If you're Vega, you're coming back in. Are you staying warm in the dugout after you exit, knowing you could come back in? Or what's the mentality of trying to stay locked in, even though you've already thrown 4 innings?
Well, when you come out there, you usually know the stipulations on when you would re-enter. A tie game, a 1-run game. So you have to know 6th inning, she probably started tossing a little bit. And then as soon as the 7th started and that first hitter got on, I guarantee she was sent to the bullpen to get loose and get hot again. But again, in softball, if you're the ace and you're the one they go to, you know that at any point in time you can be put back in a game. So mentally, you never really check out. Might give yourself 30 seconds to a minute when you get pulled, but sometimes you can even re-enter in the same inning depending on how things go.
First pitch to a pinch hitter, Emma Tatum, misses outside for ball 1. Tatum, the senior, hitting .308. Takes a big swing, pitch outside, and the count evens 1-1.
Using that rise ball through the zone, knowing that Tatum's probably going to be aggressive. A lot of times you're put in as a pinch hitter, you're told, see your pitch, get your timing, which means take your swings.
Swings again for strike 2. Back shot at first, Boyer at second, and Kansas leading 6-5.
Tatum calling timeout, and I think she might feel her heart rate increasing a little bit after those 2 swings, because I looked at the home plate ump and said, hey, I need a minute, and headed over to talk with Jen McFalls.
Come in as a pinch hitter, and then in the 7th, and then you face their ace, who's been able to rest a little bit too, last couple of innings. Also knowing that a 1-run lead against UCF might not necessarily be safe at the bottom of the 7th. 1-2, chases it outside, swing and a miss, throw down to second, won't be in time. So Tatum strikes out against Isabella Vega. That's the 2nd out of the inning, so not out of the woods yet for UCF. Here's Ava Wallace, hit a 2-run blast off of Vega in the 4th.
Well, that's a big strikeout for Isabella Vega, but I'm not so sure they were not throwing a pitch out there. The way that pitch was up and out of the zone, you saw Damon come out of her squat quite early. Tatum just overly aggressive in that situation as they were worried more about trying to backpick Boyer.
Jayhawks with 2 on and 2 out here in the top of the 7th. Wallace takes the first pitch outside.
Well, interesting matchup here. Remember, it's the 4th inning that Ava Wallace hit the 2-run home run to really ignite the Kansas offense. And that was against Vega.
Floats one in on the outside. Called strike and the count evens.
Well, there's the off speed I think Vega's been trying to find for most of the game.
Look good. Location looked good too. Wallace pops it up foul, third base side. So another 2-strike count against Vega since re-entering the game.
Situation for Kansas, as you mentioned, wanting to try to add to that lead. 1 run, not really safe against the offense of UCF.
2-2 misses again, and now you've got a full count. Time called by Damon.
Vega trying to go to that outside corner. Wallace did pull that home run to right field, so now trying to hit the outside corner, but those last 2 pitches not competitive at all. So really didn't do anything to Wallace during the at-bat. Didn't change her timing because out the gate she could see that those were nowhere close.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on in the top of the 7th. Kansas 1-run lead, looking to add more. Pitch misses outside, ball 4 that loads the bases. Boyer to third, back shot is second, and Wallace at first.
Vega was really in command of that at bat. Ended up letting Wallace go, so gonna have to face Mezcua.
Oh for 3 today. Only Jayhawk who has not reached base. First pitch misses for ball 1. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And Mezcua just being patient now, taking these first 2 pitches from Vega.
Vega came in firing against Tatum, was able to use that rise ball to get swing and miss. Got ahead of Wallace, same thing. The last 4 pitches have just been nowhere close to the zone. Obviously just a straight fastball, and even that leaked right back over the middle. So holding her breath a little bit that in a 2-0 count she was taking.
Two, 1, and again she puts it over the plate, and the count evens 2-2.
Well, nice spot there. Again, a fastball, but on the outer half, able to spot that up for strike 2. It has to be able to challenge here in this 2-2 count. Want to avoid that full count again at all costs.
Pitch misses, count is full. Second consecutive batter now Vega has faced with a full count. First was Wallace. She walked, she's standing at first base. Here's the payoff. Swing and a liner foul, left field line. Orte's doing her best, trying to get over there, but it was a little bit too quick off the bat.
Mesko got around, so it was continuing to tail into foul territory.
Here's another 3-2. Swing, and she pops it up to center field, right back on it to her left, makes the catch, and UCF gets out of the bases loaded jam. They do give up 1 run. Kansas takes the 6-5 lead to the bottom of the 7th here at Devon Park in Oklahoma City. Bottom of the 7th, and this one has been fun. Jayhawks leading again, 6-5. You look there at their NCAA tournament resume, and looking good so far if they can hold on against a really tough UCF team.
Yeah, you see there the 34 wins, the most under Jen McFalls and the most since 2015, but they do have the 41 RPI and 4 wins against top 25 teams. A lot of times they'll look at top 25 and top 50, so those 4 wins are going to be important for them. The strength of schedule, not really there to necessarily be what they lean on, but they are in the conversation. But a win here against UCF could boost that RPI even higher. A good opportunity for the Jayhawks to solidify an NCAA berth.
Sierra Humphreys will lead things off, and the first pitch sails way over the head of Amezcua and out of her reach of her glove. Maybe some jitters here. Chloe Barber, she kind of laughs with her infielders. Comes right back firing, finds the zone, and the count evens 1-1.
UCF going to have to be a little bit aggressive. Yes, you need a base runner, so you don't want to be too aggressive, but some of these pitches by Chloe Barber since she entered the game have been right over the heart of the plate.
Popped up shallow right field. Back shot going back on it. Drops behind her as Hayes tries to throw it in, and this is exactly what UCF needed. Humphreys makes it to second as the tying run for UCF in the bottom of the 7th.
Off the bat, this looks like it's an infield fly ball, but it just continues to carry. And this is where Lindoff has to just call her off because she's coming forward. So despite the fact that Bagshaw called it off the bat, you call her off, come in hard because you have a better read than your second baseman going backwards. But you tip your hat. Sierra Humphreys did not stop running. As soon as she saw that that might be some confusion between right field and second base, she kept going and got herself into scoring position.
It's Coco Jaimes, and so the tying run now in scoring position. Go ahead run at the plate. Bottom of the 7th. Shows bunt, pulls back as it misses high and outside, ball 1.
He's been able to reach twice today on fielder's choice plays. she can hit something soft, it's going to force Kansas to have to make a rush throw with her speed.
Shows bunt again as it misses outside, and those corner infielders playing very close to the plate.
Well, with the spin of Barber, they know unless Jaimes gets really on top of that ball, there's a good chance it's going to spin upward. So getting in her face to see if they can maybe catch that in the air before it hits the ground.
Puts it up down the third base side. Almost what you were just talking about.
At the same time, Jaimes has pretty good barrel control. If I'm her, I might fake bunt and then try to slap and see if you can chop that over the head of Flanagan, who's now at third base.
This is high and outside. Really not an opportunity to do any of that. Jaimes ahead in the count, 3-1.
Great job by Amezcua there to snag that one. That looked like it might be another one sailing to the backstop.
We've got time called. Bouncing ball hit to the shortstop. Craig throws to first. They get the out. Runner holds at second. One away now for Ashley Griffin. But in that situation, if you're Kansas, I think that's pretty crucial that the runner stayed at second base.
Yeah, that's what you want if you're Kansas. A ball right where Humphreys can't take off. It's not behind her. She doesn't have a big enough lead. And really, it would have been chancing it if she tried to go to third, because if you get the double play on that, it takes all the wind out of UCF sails. So they still have a runner in scoring position here, just one out.
First pitch misses a little bit low, and a good stop by Amezcua behind the plate, holding Humphreys at second base.
If you're a UCF fan, you might be thinking deja vu, as last year, again, it was this situation. Ashley Griffin up in the bottom of the seventh. She produced a 2-run home run to walk off the game.
Takes one right down the middle for a called strike. Griffin today already with an RBI and a run scored. Scored after she reached on a leadoff single in the second. This is high again, ball 3.
Humphreys being careful at second base. I think she could have possibly taken third on that bobble.
Big swing and a miss. Good pitch by Barber, going right at her that time, and the count now full with 1 out, 1 on in the 7th.
Another pitch, dancing a little bit down there at the knees, but still over the plate. So UCF just has to be able to see Barber's pitch and stay on time. Not overswing, let her provide the power.
3-2 popped up behind the plate. Coming over is the first baseman. Griffin makes the catch. 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. There is Zoe Calvets.
There, nice job by Emma Souls coming in to make that play as Amezcua looked up and she was running from a different direction. Souls had the better read on that, able to retire Griffin for the second out.
So UCF will go to Destiny Washington now as the pinch hitter. UCF down to their final out here in the bottom of the 7th. They trail by 1 with the tying run at second base. Sarah Humphreys, leadoff base runner.
Coach Baumel there, telling Washington to slow the heart rate, settle. Probably said something about staying on her legs because I saw her hit the sides of her legs. Couldn't read her lips quite a bit, but.
It's first pitch, high and outside, ball 1.
It's interesting, Chloe Barber, despite the leadoff double that fell in between Bagshaw and Lindoff, almost effectively wild. She'll throw around the zone, get 3 balls, but then all of a sudden throw one, and even though it's over the heart of the plate, the speed of it has not allowed UCF to be on time.
Misses outside, ball 2. UCF trailing by 1 with 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Swing and a miss. Count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jayhawks trying to hold on to this 1-run lead, bottom of the 7th with 2 outs. Humphreys standing at second base. Time is called and Washington steps out. Two. Called strike 3, and Kansas beats UCF 6-5. First game of the Big 12 softball tournament. What a way to start off the day, and the Jayhawks will advance and play again tomorrow.
Well, Kansas, you saw the execution from everybody in the lineup. They were able to score just enough. They got behind, chipped away, but really using Partridge and Barber as a 1-2 punch in this game. It allowed them to have success, keep UCF off balance. But Kansas, there was absolutely no quit in the Jayhawks.
Well, they came back from a 4-run deficit. They hold on to lead 6-5. They will play in the semifinals tomorrow and will face the winner of our next game. It will be Texas Tech, the #1 seed, taking on the Baylor Bears here in about 35 minutes. So you have to assume the Jayhawks might be sticking around scouting their next opponent. That will come up in about 35 minutes. But a good game, and Kansas takes down UCF. And now the Jayhawks able to head down and move their name up into the semifinals. And what an exciting game to add to the resume of the Jayhawks this year, further building on another great season, but a season that keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, we talked about it. They are in the hunt for an NCAA bid, and this win will increase that resume and continue them one more day as they keep trying to keep their name in the conversation.
Kansas wins 6-5 over UCF. We will come back about 35 minutes for Texas Tech and Baylor as the Big 12 softball tournament continues here on ESPN.